inside for Albert. Albert will get the score. Fiddler, his farewell. He tapped into a legend and probably rugby league immortality. That's not a try, that's a miracle.
G'day guys, welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast. We're going to get stuck into the team list that have just dropped for round 23. Going to be a cracker Indigenous round in the NRL, a very special week as it is every single season. Let's get stuck into the teams. What have we got in the very first game, Kathmandu?
All right, first game, 7:50 Thursday night. We have the Melbourne Storm hosting the Brisbane Broncos. So this one is at Amy Park.
All right, for the Melbourne Storm this week, no major changes. Trent Leroy, he comes back into jersey 13. You've also got Nelson Asafa-Solomona, who I believe is available for selection, but he hasn't made the squad here. So Trent Leroy, he is the only one that comes into that side. He will be back in the 13 jersey after having a spell last week. Good example of Craig Bellamy managing his players through this post-origin period. For the Broncos, huge in Payne Haas returns in the front row. Willison, he drops out. Jaden Hunt also on the bench there. Payne Haas and Trent Leary are the two big ins for Thursday night football. Friday night, Kat?
Friday night, we're up at McDonald Jones Stadium. We've spent a bit of time there recently.
Sure have.
The first game kicks off 6 p.m. We have the Newcastle Knights hosting the Penrith Panthers.
Big in for the Newcastle Knights. Bradman Best returns at left centre. Jake Arthur's been named at 5'8". Heard he has been doing good things in reserve grade up there. And Thomas Cant, he's also on the bench. Don't believe he was there before their bye or before in their last game. For the Penrith Panthers, no Isaiah Yeo. We already heard the news that he will be out for a week or two. Patea as well, not in this week. Big in for the Panthers, Scotty Sorensen. He returns on the bench. Bit of a weird one with Scott Sorensen. We don't quite know why he was missing the last 2 weeks. I've heard back, I've heard flu, I've heard hamstring, I've heard it fucking all. No idea what it is, but I think you will find Sorensen. The back end game is, well, the back end game plan is for him to be on the left edge to help Blaze Talangi defensively. So I think you'll eventually see Sorensen come in over Garner. Late game, Friday night, Kat?
Late game, we head down south to GIO Stadium. The Canberra Raiders hosting the Manly Seagulls. This one kicks off at 8 p.m.
Yeah, nothing doing for the home side, the Canberra Raiders. 1-17, the same as last week. A tough loss last week for the Raiders. I think they'd won 9 in a row or something like that in the lead up. Keen to see how they bounce back at home. For the Manly Seagulls, Tommy Turbo, he will play fullback this week. Excited to see him go around. Lehigh obviously out with a concussion. So Tommy Talau, he also comes into the centres. And Michael Cheekham gets an opportunity on the edge. Jesus, he's made a career for himself, Michael Cheekham. I remember watching him in the under-20s grand final of, I think it was 2010 or 2011, and he was a fucking juggernaut there. Still in the NRL, still getting a bait on the edge. Good to see for Cheekham. Saturday footy, Kat?
Super Saturday starts at 3 p.m. We're at Jubilee Stadium. We have the Dragons hosting the Cronulla Sharks.
Yeah, the Dragons, they are unchanged from last week. No changes there. They'll run out exactly the same as they did after last week's win. When it comes to the Sharkies, no real changes for the local derby here. Colhoun, he's out. I think you got Toby Rudolph, who joins the bench, who was out last week with a concussion. Outside of that, not too many changes for those two sides. 5:30 game, Saturday, Kat?
5:30, we have the Dolphins taking on the Sydney Roosters. This one is at Suncorp Stadium.
Yeah, at Suncorp there, the Roosters, they're 1-17, nothing to talk about with the Chooks. When it comes to the Dolphins, obviously Herbie Farmworth is out for a few weeks. Felice Kafusi also suspended for 2 weeks, I believe. So, Nafahu, the young centre that I really like up there, Tavita, he's been named in the centres. Averillo's on the wing. I think they're playing silly buggers. I think Averillo will be in the centres. I think Nafahu will be on the wing, but we'll see what they do there. Nichols at prop, Stone and Finay Fuiaki on the bench. As I said, Roosters, they are 1-17 there. So life without Herbie Farmworth. This will be the first of about a month and a half without him for the Dolphins. Keen to see how they go. Huge game, this one. It's essentially a 4-point game with these two teams so close to each other on the ladder. I think there's a fair argument the winner of this game probably gets 8 spots. So 2 seasons on the line there at Suncorp Stadium. The late game, Saturday night, Kat?
Late game, we have the Bulldogs hosting the New Zealand Warriors at Accor Stadium. Kickoff 7:35. 405.
Yeah, for the Bulldogs, nothing on paper worth noting. Galvani has been cited with some strapping on his hand. It reportedly could miss a week or two. If he is out, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do. They've obviously got two halfbacks on the extended bench, Toby Sexton and Woods. Now, Sexton has obviously been doing great things for the club. They do need to start winning games. So maybe you go Sexton, but I'd love to see them blood young Mitch Woods and give him an opportunity to come into this side. If Galvin is to be out for this one, a big watch on which direction they go to the future, or to just try and win games of football to lock in that top 4 spot. For the Warriors, Tane Topiki, he's been named at fullback. He will remain there. So you got Pompey and Charles Nickel-Clockstad in the centres. Chanel Harris-Tavita, he returns at 5'8" this week. Tamare Martin, he moves to jersey 14. Nia Corday, he's been named to start in the front row. Sam Healy still in jersey 9. I was expecting Wade Egan to be named, but Healy's in the 9. And you got Kate Ball returning to the back row with Lecker. He's on the edge as well. Worth noting, James Fisher-Harris, he's on the extended bench for New Zealand Warriors. Sunday, 2 p.m. I'm going to be out this one, Kat. What do we got?
Yeah, I was going to say this is one that you're pretty invested in for a variety of reasons. We've got the Gold Coast Titans taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs at Seabus Super Stadium. Kickoff at 2 p.m. Talk to us about these Titans.
Yeah, shout out to NRL Physio for fucking my dreams once again. Rumours that KINI would feature in this one. Already brought my tickets to go up for the reunion game. Me and KINI getting back together. Not to be, I'm hoping, I haven't had a look yet, but I'm hoping he gets a feature in Queensland Cup somewhere. I'm so in-depth in that, I don't even know when their team lists come out, but best know I'll be watching it like a fucking hawk. For the Titans, Phil Sami out this week, I believe, with a concussion. Randall on the edge. Campiera gets his opportunity back in the Gold Coast Titans side. For the South Sydney Rabbitohs, Ward, he'll be at 5'8". You got Cheese, he's been named on the bench, and Trell Mitt named on the extended bench. We'll wait and see if he features in this one. Trell Mitt and Ty Munner on the extended bench, so there could be some late changes there for South Sydney. We mentioned that the Roosters and the Dolphins, I believe they're fighting for 8th spot. Loser, their season could be over, and Kat, unfortunately, I think the loser of this game might find themselves with a wooden spoon this year. So I don't think Des Hasler's won one. I could be wrong on that. I know Wayne Bennett hasn't won one, so they're essentially, outside of Craig Bellamy, the two most experienced coaches in rugby league fighting it out for a wooden spoon. Crazy scenes. Glad we brought that up.
Man, you said it. I wasn't going to say it, but yeah, the it's a nice tone to set for that game, the potential spoon bowl. But anyway, we'll
spoon bowl.
And you're there, so
I will be there.
Clearly it's peak entertainment. So let's move on to the last game of the round. The Parramatta Eels taking on the North Queensland Cowboys. This one is at CommBank Stadium. Kickoff at 4:05.
As far as the Eels go, nothing massive here. You've got Sam Rani. He moves into the centres this week. Kelma Tuolangi's on the bench, so I would expect Kelma to come on and Jack Williams shift into the middle. I wouldn't be surprised if Kelma does start this week or next week, but we'll see how that rotation works. Worth noting with Kelma, he came back in reserve grade this week. He actually played on the right edge, so I think there's a world where you potentially see Guymer moved over to the left and Kelma on the right. Just seems weird to play him on the right side in reserve grade if he's going to come in on the left side in first grade. But we'll wait and see. Maybe I'm just reading too far into that. For the Cowboys, Labart, he moves to the wing. Valia returns at centre. Big in there for the Cowboys. Jakey Clifford, another big in at 5'8" too. And probably the biggest overall, though, Jason Taumalolo. We haven't seen him for quite some time. I can't even remember the last time I saw Jason Taumalolo. So good to see him returning for the Cowboys. He will obviously line up in the front row. Last time we saw Jason Taumalolo was in round 9, so not a crazy amount of time ago, but I have very little memory of him even playing this season, to be completely honest with you. So Jason Taumalolo, he returns there as well. So a couple of big ins for the North Queensland Cowboys. And of course, the bye this week, the West Tigers, off the back of a famous victory over the Canterbury Bulldogs. Guys, we have got beers and break-evens coming your way Wednesday, 3 p.m. The late show will be at 8 p.m, exploring all the options this week with the one and only Timmy Williams. Then Sowie, he's going to be joining us once again Thursday afternoon on YouTube, Thursday morning, 6 a.m. on the podcast. A heap coming your way this week on the Rugby League Guru Podcast.